I'm Jesse Draper, the Valley Girl. What does your company do? Have you ever Googled yourself?
Totally.
What makes a great entrepreneur? What's your next big idea? Tweeting's like my favorite. Let's talk business.
I'm like the Valley Girl.
Julia, Julia, wherefore art thou, Julia Allison? She is late. She's late for a very important date with the Valley Girl. But I don't care because she's an incredible journalist, an unbelievable television and internet personality, and I just can't wait to talk to her. Let's talk business with Julia Allison.
Julia Allison is a journalist and media personality. Some say she was the first female blogger on the internet. The New York Observer called Julia a cross between Paris Hilton and Ayn Rand. The New York Times called her one of the best sex columnists of her generation, and Radar magazine called her the number 3 most hated person on the internet. I don't hate her. I think she's a rockin' woman.
Well, here we are today with Julia Allison, and your hair looks fabulous.
Thank you.
Julia, I'm just gonna say, you were a little late today.
I was, but it was not my fault. In my defense, it was not my fault. It was the fault of the traffic coming to San Mateo.
I don't even have a watch, but I'm pretty sure it was an hour and a half, possibly.
I flew in from LA. I feel like you can't.
Oh yeah, thank
judge
you.
that.
But I realized you're totally on time in Hawaii. So
Thank you very much.
we're good. We're good. You are an incredible writer. I was reading a bunch of your
Thank
pieces,
you.
and you have a great voice, and I'm just really impressed by it. And now I want to talk to you. What do you consider yourself?
That's actually a really good question. A journalist at the end of the day, but I think probably I'm segueing into something else. I don't know exactly what that is. Maybe it's media personality.
It's like a new world.
I mean, the thing is, I've always been a columnist, sort of most of my 20s, and I'm now out of my 20s. Just barely, though, just barely. And
I don't believe it.
I think there's a new kind of sort of entrepreneurial journalism that I'm really interested in. And I'm really interested in talking to young women entrepreneurs, whether that's speaking to them as a public figure, or whether it's, advising them on how to deal with the press, because I've made every mistake known to humankind with that. Honestly, I just like talking to people who are really interesting.
We're all about that here at the Valley Girl Show.
Good.
We're always encouraging female entrepreneurs. I think that there needs to be way more female entrepreneurs. Yay! Now, okay, so you consider yourself a journalist. What I want to know, because I want to get into something, is what do you think people consider you?
Depends on who you're talking to. I don't always know the answer to that question, but I think when I came to Silicon Valley for the first time, I think people didn't really know what to make of me, because I'm pretty enthusiastic.
Because you're just awesome.
Oh, yeah, that's probably why. No, I think that they were a little confused. It's like, what do you do? Are you an entrepreneur? Are you a journalist? Are you like a socialite? I've never considered myself a socialite, but I really like people, and I just want to talk to these.
I think you were just ahead. You
were
were ahead of everybody.
I don't know about that.
You were the first real face of a blogger on the cover of Wired. You were one of the very first bloggers I think I ever read.
Oh, really?
Yeah, or ever followed. And so I think it's really, it's impressive. I think you were just ahead.
Well,
and I think, you get a bad rap occasionally, which I feel like we have to talk about. Yeah. But it just makes me so mad because I know you and I think you're just fantastic.
Thank you so much. Well, I was doing life casting back, many people started life casting before I did. I was certainly not the first person to do life casting. I'm already an hour late. I'm lying. I'm actually like an hour and a half late now. But I started it before Twitter got really big, and now everyone sort of updates the whole world on their lives on a daily basis, and I've sort of stopped doing that as much. And I only did it in the first place because no one from home. I'm from Chicago. None of my friends understood what I did.
Yeah, where is your home? You're like, I like how on your Twitter it's like Chicago, New York, LA, San Francisco, or Silicon Valley.
It ended up being really fascinating because I think technology allowed me to do it in a way that 10 years ago I couldn't have. So whatever city I go to, I'm on Yelp and I'm on Facebook, obviously connecting with people. So I feel like I have communities, like true communities, in 4 cities, which can get a little confusing because I'm like, where am I? But
Yeah,
it's about a week in each
I like
city.
that though. Technology does kind of make that easier for people.
I don't think I could do it otherwise. Like between, the maps on my iPhone, Yelp, and Facebook, I literally don't think I could live the life that I do now without those 3 things.
Oh yeah, they're very important things. Now I want to talk. I met you at South by Southwest. You were doing a panel on cyberbullying.
Yes.
Which you are very, very well versed in. And
Yes,
I'm just like,
not because I'm a bully, okay?
Not
Just like
you're
to
a bully
clarify
at all.
that.
But if you were talking to all of the cyberbullies right now, what would you say?
It's a big waste of time, for one.
Yeah.
I just think at the end of the day, aside from the fact that it's not great for your karma,
Right.
It's a waste. It's just a waste. Like there are so many better things
It's a waste of time.
to
It's
do.
a waste. Yeah.
Over the last 10 years, I've dealt with a lot of cyberbullies, and I think at first I tried to convince them. I was like, no, like you've got me wrong. Like I'm really nice, and then they were like, we're gonna prove she's not nice. It's like, okay, I'm not nice 100% of the time.
Do you think there was one point in your life where you, like, this happened, these
Yes.
haters came out?
It started with Gawker, and basically, as opposed to some people who get a fan base, I got a hate base. And this particular version of me was put forth, and I'm also very sarcastic, and I was sarcastic with print reporters. Big mistake. Don't do that. So when they printed my comments, I sounded, frankly, like a little bit like a douchebag. I was not being serious about a lot of the things. A lot of the things were sort of just jokes.
Yeah.
But it was framed in such a way that was pretty negative.
After this Gawker experience, do you believe that all press is good press?
Oh, hell to the no. No! That is the most ridiculous thing I have ever heard. I think I said in an article recently, that is what friends of people who've gotten bad press tell them to make them not...
Feel better.
To make sure they don't drink themselves to death, because it is not good. No, if I could go back and do this all over again, I would do it very, very differently. I would be so much more careful. I would be protective of myself. I wasn't at all protective of me.
Interesting. Yeah.
I just trusted a lot lot of people I shouldn't have trusted.
But I think protecting yourself, too, is something you learn at a little bit of a later age. Like, I feel like when you're early, when you're young, you're just putting yourself out there in so many ways, and then you realize, like, oh, wait, I can't say yes to everything. I can't do everything. I have needs, and I need to take care of them. So that was probably something you were learning throughout this process.
It definitely was, but I do feel like a lot of people are better at this than I was in their 20s. I think that their default is more protective, whereas my default is, I'll tell you everything, like, let's just chat, and it's like, no, don't do that.
So, Julia, are you ready to do this?
I'm ready.
Yeah, he looks pretty good in that, but I'm thinking we should,
What should we do first? You have such long eyelashes.
Why don't you take off his clothes?
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Love it. Take it off. Take off your shirt. Oh, that's gotta hurt.
Oh, man. Here, I'll trade you. You put on the sock.
I feel like I got it. It's slightly metro, but I feel like it works for you. I feel like maybe we should go on a date.
Yeah, I think so.
All three of us.
All three of us together.
All three of us.
Right. High five. That was awesome.
Boom.
Boom.
I'm like the Valley Girl.
And I'm like Julia Allison.
Well, that was fun.
That was fun.
I love that you're wearing pink. I just feel like, I don't know, we're like kindred spirits.
I
in
feel like
pink.
we're soul sisters.
And now it's time for your ditz moment.
You need a gang sign. Not a gang sign, not a gang, like a
Like a VG sign.
that sounds like a different thing.